Okay, class. So I couldn't be there this Thursday because I have a gig down in San Diego. So a video it is, but let's keep moving. As the title suggests, Unit 1, Test Results and Review. Here we go. So the class average was a 70%, but the median was 82.9%. So that means the majority of us scored an 80% or higher. And just a fun stat line that that I found interesting was freshmen got nearly a perfect score. I think it was like 98 or 99%. The middle schoolers were not far behind. My eighth graders were coming in strong. But after that, sophomore, junior, senior, it kind of skewed downward. So do with that info what you will. I found it to be an interesting observation. So today's plan is to walk through the test. We're going to review weak areas, and then we're going to set up for Unit 2 when I get back. So let's get to it. We're going to start off with a test review. There's just a couple of sections here I wanted to note that of the numbers, number 2 was that gave the class the most trouble, and that was key signature construction. We're going to definitely drill that later. And then after that was the scale construction. We're not going to do as many drills, but I feel like if we address the key signature issue, a lot of things are going to iron out. If you're not solid on your major scales and minor scales, trying to do harmonic minor and melodic minor you have Swiss cheese holes in your foundation, and I think that's what the majority of our problem is. So I think if we get the major scale stuff happening, key signature wise, a lot of things will clear up. And then the beaming rhythms, which we're going to definitely drill more later today. So just a fundamentals reminder, key signatures and major scales is non-negotiable. It's got to be there, especially as we go into Theory 2. Everything is derived or built on top of that. So if you're not like automatic with major scales or key signatures, you're going to get left in the dust. So, and you know how I say all the time in class, here, let me move this guy. All right. Slow theory equals no theory. So we're going to be doing a bunch of stuff in class. Later on, I'm going to give you some supplemental exercises on musictheory.net to hone your skills. In addition to that, I also am available for office hours. I'm at school if I'm not having a gig. I'm there Monday through Thursday. Office hours are 2 p.m. to 2:30. Email me to make an appointment. If that time doesn't work, maybe I can find a time after school. I don't know. But I can't help you if you don't reach out to me. So if you're struggling with this, reach out. Otherwise, after review today, and if you don't reach out to me for more help, we got to keep moving. So I don't want to leave people behind, but if I have to, that's what we're going to do. All right, next slide. So fundamentals will be solid. Kind of basically what I said on the last slide. If the issue is from lack of practice, we can't slow down the pace of class. So if you are behind, you got to catch up. I'm willing to help you, but if you're not asking for help and you're not really utilizing the resources I'm giving you, then that's kind of on you. Show active effort and to get support if you're struggling. So yeah, if I see you're trying, if you're reaching out to me, then yes, I will take that into account. But if you're neglecting the resources or my invitation to get tutoring, then I feel like I've kind of done what I can do. All right, let's get into key signature construction. Well, actually, first let's review the test before we get into this. So I'm going to switch over to iPad. All right. So I'm just going to kind of push through this stuff because I know we're going to review key signatures, but yeah, 3 flats. So the trick here, you should have covered this in Theory 1, but here we are. The second to last flat gives you the clue with flats, that is. It's a different rule for sharps, but there you go. It's right there, E flat major, all right? With sharps, the last sharp is the 7th scale degree. So here we are in bass clef. That would be a D sharp. So that wants to go up to an E. Boom. A lot of you kind of missed out on this where you didn't see the minor part. If I saw that you got the major scale thing, I gave you half of credit. I tried to help you out. Let me know if I didn't grant you that, or we can talk about it. But I feel like I was pretty good about catching that. Like, I know a lot of people thought this was A major, but it's not. It's actually F sharp minor. I'm sorry, the jazzer in me. Or if we want to do classical theory, that's a forte. Sorry, guys. Lowercase for minor. I don't mind if you do the uppercase stuff. I'm not that. Um, I know some teachers that would when I had in college and stuff. So it's good practice, but I'm not going to lose sleep over it. I'm more important that you're just following details. Same deal. Not A flat major. A flat major is F minor. Okay, and hopefully you know that trick of like the major. You go to the sixth scale degree of the major scale. That gives you the minor. That is relative. All right. Any questions about that? I don't. I think most of it was just a reading issue. Just got to look at details. But I forgot to mention too. There was actually 2 perfect scores here. So if you're one of the people that got a perfect score, killer job. Yeah, there was 2 students that got a perfect score. So this might be hard for some people in the room, but there are plenty of people in the room that are definitely bringing it. All right, C sharp major. Fat cats go down alleyways. Go down alleyways eating bread. Let me kind of just switch back to the, because on the next, I asked ChatGPT to come up with a couple other ones. They said, what was it? Fresh cold Gatorade does all awesome every ball game. I don't know. I mean, you can come up with your own. Just learn it. There's some alternatives. So we'll see those later. But whatever you got to do at a certain point. But I'm going to show you another way that if you kind of remember the first 2 flats, there is a logic to this. And we're going to cover this in the drill, but might as well talk about it now. So F sharp, we know that's the first one. C sharp. Now, much like the chromatic scale, you're going to see that there's going to be 2 lines going parallel up into the right. But treble clef kind of gives us problems, so we'll cover this more in the worksheet over. But I wanted to kind of foreshadow that. So you kind of see once I got the F sharp and the C sharp. The next one you would think would be A sharp, but we don't want to introduce ledger lines. You can do this in bass clef where it works out nicely, but that is why they dropped it down here. But E goes fine. There we go. So how many sharps? So there you go. And once again, the last sharp is B sharp. B sharp goes up a half step to C sharp, as is the rule with that. So big problems with the spacing stuff. I mean, there was pretty chaotic things where but the order is important and making sure it looks clean is also important. So, all right, flats are the opposite. You're going to see we're going to have 2 parallel lines going down. So you remember this. If you put it backwards, I think it spells bead, and then whatever you want to say, GCF. Again, I just think, just learn it. If you need a phrase, great, but eventually you just should kind of know this. So the first 2 are bead. All right, so that gets you in the game. But as you keep going, you'll notice a downward trajectory on both of these, right? Let me just double check. Hold on a second. Let me double check. All right, there it is. Read it and weep. So you can see both here, there's downward trajectory. So if you get the first 2, they just go down each line. You can memorize this, but if you kind of just know the first 2, as you add them, there is kind of a pattern here. So, and I just wanted to double check that was on the bottom line. I know I should know this stuff, but sometimes I take for granted and I have to go back and review. So, okay, back to the iPad. So, okay, pushing through this one, C minor, which is the same as E flat major. So I just keep adding flats until, boom, the second to last one is E flat. C sharp minor is the same as E major. So I'm going to go, what is this, bass clef? Let me make sure I'm good. Yes, okay, bass clef. So I just keep adding until I get to D sharp. I know, it's a little bit trickier, but you know, this is why you got to spend time with this. The goal is eventually, someone says E major. I mean, even on gigs, people will go like, hey, 4 up or 4 down. Like, what key are we in? Oh, this is G, this is D. So fingers up means sharp. So this would be E, B. Fingers down would be F, B flat, E flat, A flat, D flat. After that, you know, I mean, I don't know. Most of the time it's within 5 on the gig. So, but if you're like having to take time to think about that and you're on a gig, it's not a good look. So get it done, get it learned. Okay, and I know most of you are doing it. It seems like I'm probably yelling at people that did it right, but here we are. This was D harmonic minor. You know, first note is D, first of all, you know, and then if you notice that's not a C sharp, or if you don't, you know, you would know that D would be 2 sharps. Well, there's only 1 sharp, so that probably should tip you off that it's not major. And so far in this class, we only do major, minor, harmonic minor, and melodic minor. So this is, you could think of this as a minor scale with a raised 7th, or the formula that we gave was flat 6, flat 3, regular 7. Whichever it is. It might be, if you're good with minor, then go with the modifying the minor scale. If you don't know that and you want to try the major side, you know, again, I leave it up to you. And if you have any questions about that, I'm going to push through this a little bit, but if you need more explanation, just reach out to me for tutoring. This was a melodic minor. Again, just think of a major scale flat the 3rd, or you can think of a minor scale with a raised 6th and raised 7th. And that's ascending melodic minor, but you know, that's you. Okay. Some people, they were writing like G major, and I don't know what was going on, but I mean, at least get the first letter, right? So it's got to be some G flat something, right? And if you would know that G flat was 6 flats, then you could count them. You know, so this is G flat major. This is going to be some kind of B, and I see they're all sharps. There's 5 sharps. Well, if you know that 5 sharps is B, then yes, it is B major. G harmonic minor. If you want to do this, you can do whole notes. I'm not really losing sleep. Oh, sorry. Melodic minor. Now this requires ascending, and I should write ascending and descending, but that would kind of give it away. But let's see, I'll just go through this quick. I just want you to kind of watch the speed here. This is kind of where you want to get. You notice, like, I'm not worried about accidentals. I'm just getting the notes first. Just get that down. It's something about, for me, mentally, getting that momentum always helped on tests. All right, so I know a B minor would be the same as D major, so that's 2 sharps. So, but I also know, so a B minor would be that, but we also want to raise the 6th and the 7th. So I'm going to add sharps there as well. And then going down, just for clarity's sake, like if there was a measure line there, then yes, the accidentals would technically reset. But most of the time, I'd say as you go into college, if you go into study, you know, college and do this kind of stuff, just for clarity's sake, you may want to reiterate that. Oh, what am I doing? All right. Makes sense? Again, questions, let me know. All right, this was a major 2nd. E, G sharp was also a major third. This, I think this got everybody. I mean, this was the kicker. So we have F, and if we know an F major scale, again, everything goes back to the major scale. B flat, that is a B natural, so that is an augmented fourth. D flat, A flat is a perfect fifth. We're going to drill intervals later. D to a B flat would be a minor. I like putting the 3 above there just for clarity's sake, or I like putting the line above the M for clarity's sake. E flat to D is a major seventh. All right? Does that look right? It would totally be on brand for me to mess this up, you know, but you guys can make fun of me or call me on it, but I think that's accurate at a glance. Yes. All right. Please let me know if I messed it up. Major 6. So above, made sure to be clear on that. G, so that's going to be an E. Again, I don't really care if it's a harmonic or a melodic. Either is fine. So a diminished fourth. So right out of the gate, people not answering this at all, you should at least get the interval. I mean, you should be able to go 1, 2, 3, 4, right? And by the way, make sure that 1 is the starting note. That's a very common mistake. A lot of times people will start counting and they'll go, oh, this is 0, and then they go up to 1, but that's actually a second. This little space right here is a second. So remember, 1 starts on the note. So B to E would be a perfect fourth, so we're going to flat the E. F to E would be a major seventh, so I'm going to flat the E flat. Again, everything is kind of a modification of major. All right, octave, that's a B flat. Perfect octave, that's easy. Major third, all right, A, third note of a major scale is a C sharp. Fifth note of an F major scale is C. Let me see, practice, preach here. There you go. Okay, so there it goes. Let me just double check there. Yes. Chromatic scales, we've done that. I'm going to save time because I already see like where this video is getting long. Tetrachord. It's just the first 4 notes of the major scale. A flat major scale. This one got a lot of people. G flat is all flats. Right? Yes, that is G flat, bottom line. Good burritos don't fall apart. That's the line. Okay? So a thing I did see too is sometimes people would put like a B in like a B natural. And yes, these are you would call these inharmonic spelling. Meaning it's a different way to spell the same note. But here's the thing with theory, especially anything major scale based, they want to see a different letter. And we'll see this when we get into the interval spelling as well. But the fourth, if it's G, you can think of the letters right here. It's going to be some kind of C. So G flat, A flat. Same deal over here. I think, if you wrote C sharp, nope. They want A, B, C, D. They want some kind of D, right? So let's kind of go over here. So again, kind of similar to writing out the scales. If you're stuck, just write the alphabet. I mean, God, I hope people can at least do that here. That's an easy win. You don't have to think about it. It kind of helps you calm down because, all right, now you can just work left to right. So at this point, again, I'll say it a million times, you got to know the major scale. If you don't have it, it's going to be a hard quarter. See, E flat. Okay. Beam the rhythms. All right, now this kicked our butt here. This is triple simple. That means 3 beats, 2 based. So it's going to be like 2 eighth notes or 16th notes, right? So on and so forth. That's going to change when we go to 9/8. So what I do is I know that a beat is going to have 4 16th notes. So there's 1, 1, 2 16th notes. All right, so every time it adds up to 4, I draw a little line there, right? So this is 2, 1 16th note. So 2 plus 1 is 4. 1 plus 2 plus 1, there it is. So now I'm going to beam those. Apologize for my penmanship. All right. iPad penmanship aside, that's what we're at. So now you can see 3 clear beats. All right, now let's do the 9/8. So this is going to be 3 based. 9/8 is 3 groupings of triplets, or it could be 16th notes. So if it's 3 triplets, well, I shouldn't call them triplets, 3/8 notes. It's 3/8 notes, 6, 12, it's half, 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 half. So I'm going to think either I'm looking for 3/8 notes. So right there, right out of the gate, that's cool. But once I start seeing 16th notes, then I have to start adding up until I get 6 16th notes. So 1, 2, 2, 1. So 1 plus 2 plus 2 plus 1. There you go. There's 6. 1, 1, 1, 1, 2. So there's your final 6. So I'm going to add this up. Gets a little tricky here. So we got a 16th note followed by 2 8th notes. And then with the last 16th note there. And then finally 4 16th notes and an 8th. Dot, 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 dot. 1 and dot, 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 dot. The top one will be dot, 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 1E and 2 and a 3E up. Okay? So that's the test. Let's jump back into the review. All right, what about 2 minutes, 20 minutes in? All right. Since I can't be there, I thought it would be a good opportunity for us to review. Just one last chance to try to get these fundamentals happening, because once we hit Unit 2, we're going to be moving. And I'm going to become increasingly less patient for people that don't have their fundamentals together, okay? So let's start off with the unit review. All right, so key signatures. So everybody should have a handout. I'm pulling it up on my iPad real quick. Key signatures. Face and iPad, here we go. I started with bass clef because I think it's easiest to see, but remember, fat cats go down alleyways, sure, or whatever your version is. But honestly, once you remember the F sharp and the C sharp, especially in bass clef, this is where you get to really see the 2 parallel lines going up. Gang, this is super embarrassing. It's late. I'm tired. I got it in my head that, the reason they displaced that A, I do believe, is because in the treble clef, that A would hit ledger line, so they had to displace it. Where I screwed up is that bass clef models this. It is the same thing, even though they could keep going up plausibly. So my bad, big mistake. Sorry, I'll do better. But so write it 8 times this way. Drag. Sorry, guys. That is what that looks like. Let me double check. Yes. That would be embarrassing to get that wrong, but oh well. So you are going to write this 8 times. I'm going to pause the video now. Okay, now we are back. Let's do the flats. So bead, and then whatever it starts after that. Honestly, I don't have it memorized because I know this downward trajectory, just like what we did on the test, right? Again, 2 parallel lines going down. Once you get the 2, you see them going down this way. Bass clef is super clean. Do it 8 more times. I'll wait 2 minutes tops. See you in 2 minutes. We're back to sharps, fat cats. Got the upper line. But again, as I said during the test, once you get into we don't want to have ledger lines, right? So it's a very practical thing, practical way that they came about this. This is how I understand their logic, or I would guess, It's how it made sense in my head. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Last one is B sharp, right? B sharp is the 7th note. So just to kind of go through it, F sharp would be the 7th note of G. C sharp would be D. G sharp goes up to A. D sharp goes up to E. A sharp goes up to B. E sharp goes up to F sharp. B sharp goes up to C sharp. All right? 2 minutes. Write 8 of them. Go. Flats are equally forgiving on treble clef. So again, you just go bead or BE, and you got the 2 lines going down. See how fast that is? That's what it's got to be. And the first one you got to memorize that's F. Okay, but after that, it's always the second to last flat gives you this. So if I had 2 flats, if I stopped at E flat, that would mean that we're in the key of B flat. Go here, stopped at 3, that's E flat, stopped at 4, so on and so forth. So the second to last flat is the key. So if I see 6 flats, there it is, G flat, second to set. If it was 5 flats, there it is, D flat. So, okay, write out 8 of them. And then that will be it for, the key signature construction. My thinking is this is as hard as it's going to be. You write 7 flats, you know the order of them. Now it's just like, where do you stop in that sequence? But just, do the hardest one, so now you're not scared of it. So 2 minutes. We'll see you in a second. Okay, so now that we reviewed key signatures, or at least constructing them, let's jump into something we haven't done as a class. I think this might help, with conceptualizing intervals. So we're going to jump right into it. We see here, we have a grid, right? We have, you can think of this as unison. I would just write it as 1 because I think you would, unison, perfect 1, the 1, okay? Perfect 8 would be, throw a VE at the end of that, you got an octave, right? So, and then we have qualities. So right out of the gate, let's determine which of these does not exist. Well, first step with that would be, think of the major scale. So primary triads, root, 4, 5, and octave. Those are going to be perfect. So knowing that, we can go ahead and cross out major and minor because we know those are going to be perfect. Conversely, everything left is going to be a major or a minor. And then we know that there's not going to be a diminished unison. And this is a question that will come up. So let's say if we were in the key of C. Well, okay, perfect unison would be a C. So diminished would be a lowering of a perfect interval, so that would be C flat. Here's the deal, though. You always go by the lower interval. So we would be, we would have to change this chart to C flat. So that's why it could, as low as it could be, would be the C, would be a perfect unison. You could do an augmented unison, which would be a C sharp, but a diminished unison, correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe that's the official word, as we've run into this in classes in the past. So right there, just knowing this is an important step, okay? The next step would be, even if you don't know the scale, I mean, we're starting with C, so we already know there's no accidentals, but let's say, going back to the spelling stuff, we know there's going to be some kind of D, some kind of E, so just go ahead and get that in there. So that's your major scale right there, boom. Major scale, oh God. Go opacity, transparency. Here we go. Try this again. Ugh, millennial dealing with technology. All right. Well, it was a nice thought. I was going to highlight that. All right. Haha. All right. What's going on here? Daggone it. This is great. So that's a big first step. We already did the augmented unison, but I know that everything in this column is going to be some kind of D, right? But the first important thing is determining what the major is, and I think that works the best when I've taught this. Again, everything goes back to the major scale. So now if I raise a D, that gives me a D sharp. If I lower a D, it gives me a D flat. So there you go. A minor second would be a C, D flat, a C double flat. C double flat's actually an enharmonic spelling. It's the same note as a C. Some things only exist in theory, but you know, hopefully you can kind of get an idea of what these terms mean. All right, so I'll give you all a minute or two to fill this out, and then we'll check back in. All right, let's see how you did. So I'm just going to start by filling in everything. It's going to be some kind of F, some kind of G, some kind of A. And hopefully this solidifies the spelling of this stuff, right? Okay, so E sharp. An augmented third is the same as a perfect fourth. You know, again, enharmonic spelling. Just going to go through this stuff. Sharp, flat, A double flat, which would be two flats, A sharp, B sharp, B flat, B double flat, C flat, C sharp. And that's the speed that we're after. So that's why we're going to do a bunch of these. We're going to probably start opening up class with this stuff because we just got to get it to where this stuff is a no-brainer. We can't be fumbling over intervals if we're trying to get into triads and stuff like this. This is just like we want our major scales to be automatic. We want our major scales to be automatic. So let's do another one. Let's see. Let's do, I don't know, let's get into something where we got some double sharps. So let's do B major. All right. Once again, intervals that don't exist. Let's knock them out. Perfect intervals, okay, and then there's no such thing as a major fourth or a major fifth. Know the perfect intervals. I mean, I keep promising I'm going to explain this, but, you know, we'll save that for another class. Has to do with the overtone system, I believe. So, okay, so let's start off with B. I'm just going to spell a B major scale. The goal is to be this fast. Slow theory is no theory. All right, from there, all right, so now I know this, the unison is going to be some kind of B, so B sharp. A B and a B sharp would be an augmented unison. C double sharp, I just treat it as an X. If you lower a C sharp, it's a C natural. If you want to put the natural sign, that's cool. I think it's a little redundant. I'm not going to do it here. And then C flat, D, D flat, D double sharp, E sharp, E flat, E double sharp. So how am I going so fast with this? Well, the big thing, again, goes back to the hard work is already done if you've done the major scale, right? That's where the speed comes from. And then like I'm just raising these things. So like I'm raising a sharp to a double sharp. You kind of see how this, like you can see right here. You can see the double sharp, sharp, natural, flat. If we kept going, it would be a double flat, a doubly diminuted second. I've never heard of it, but hopefully you get the idea of the theory here. G double sharp, G, G flat, A double sharp, A natural, A flat, B flat, B sharp. All right, let's do a crazy, let's do, I don't know, A flat. I'll give you 2 minutes, see in 2 minutes. All right, we're back. Actually, just for kicks, I'm going to time this so you see how, to give you an idea I wouldn't be surprised if you guys are practicing all this time. You could be faster than me, but I just want to give you kind of a benchmark. All right, so check it out. I'm going to time myself. Here we go. All right, A flat, write out the scale, C, D flat, E flat, F, G, A flat. A natural, B natural, B double flat. Oh boy. I guess what, be a triple flat? Is there such a thing? Some things only exist in theory. C, C double flat. I'm going quick, so we'll see. I just can't shake the feeling that I'm going to mess up one of these, but stop. 1 minute 11. So see if you can beat it. But that's the idea. This is the speed. I want you to see this is what this stuff looks like in practice. So we'll keep doing these. There's only 15 keys. And I think, as you can see, as we keep doing a lot of these, again, it all just goes back to knowing the major scale. And after that, you're kind of modifying that. But if you don't know your major scale, you're dead in the water. So it all goes back to the major scale. All right, so let's see. We've done the interval worksheet. We did the unit root. All right, now let's do some more beaming rhythms. Millennial pause. Be right back. And we're back. So I broke this up into two sections. It's going to be simple meter. So I say, like, count how many 16th notes are in there. So if we got an 8th note, that's two 16th notes. Two 16th notes. Each beat is going to have four 16th notes, right? And 4/4, or any kind of simple meter, 2/8, 4/16, 1/4 note. You get the idea. 8, 30 seconds, whatever. We're only doing 16th notes here. So as I'm going along, just budgeting. All right, 1, 2, 3, 4, 16 notes. There's another line. Quarter note, that's 4 16 notes. All right, 2, 1, 1. And then I just go over here and beam it. 8th note, 4 16th notes. Apologize for my penmanship. I'm going for speed. Okay, so I'm going to pause it. I'll give you 30 seconds to figure out this next one. All right, let's jump into it. 1, 2, 1. So that's 4, 3, 3 16th notes and a dotted 8th note. 1, dot line. 2 8th notes. That's a beat. 1, 2, 1, 1. All right, let's beam them. 2 8th notes, 8th and 2 16ths, right? Da 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 ba da ba 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 da 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 ba da ba da 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 da. I forgot to do the first one, but that would go 1 and 2 E and a 3, 4 and a ba 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 da 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 da. And you can see nice 4 easy to see beats. All right, now we're going to triple simple. Same concept, but now there's just going to be 3 beats of beams, right? So pause it if you'd like. Otherwise, here we go. So 2 16th notes, 1 plus 1. There's 4 16th notes, 1 1 plus 2. There's another 4 16th notes, 1 plus 3. Dotted 8th note equals 3. Going over here. 8th and 2 16ths, 2 16ths and an 8th, 16th and a dotted 8th. Da 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 da. 1 and a 2E and 3E. 1 and a 2E and 3E. All right. 2 4. 3 plus 1. Actually, pause it if you'd like. 10 seconds, 15 seconds. All right. You're back. Here we go. Let's bang it out. Ah, sorry. Ba ba da da. 1, a 2E. 1, a 2E. 1, 2, 1. That equals 4. 2 plus 1, 1. Counting up the 16th notes. 16th, 8th, 16th. That looks like this. 8th, 2 16ths. Boom. Ba da ba da 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 ba da 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 da. 1E, a 2E, a 1E, a 2, and a 1E, a 2, and a 5/4 seems scary, but we're just doing 5 beats. So take, I don't know, a minute, look it up, but we're going to pause it if you'd like. Otherwise, we're just going to rock. 8th note rest. So that's going to be 2. If you want to put parentheses in it, be my guest. Oh, what am I doing? So that's going to be 1 beat. 2/8 another beat. 2 16ths and an 8, that's another beat. 2 16ths plus 8th, 2, so there you go. 2, 2. So let's break it down. Beat by beat, it's a dotted 8th with a 16th. 8th note rest, 8th note, it's beat 2, 2 16ths in an 8th. 8th and 2 16ths, 2 8th notes. Boom. Da, 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 1, 1, and 3E and 4 and a 5 and 1, and 3E and 4 and a 5 and da, 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 da. All right, it's probably going to clear the dance floor, but you know, sometimes you got to read odd meter. All right, now we are at compound meter. Running long here, 40 minutes, whatever. This will be on Google Classroom. Do this if you'd like, but if you run out of time, you run out of time. But you know, it's here for you to help. Compound meter, everything is based in 3 8th notes or 6 16th notes. A dotted quarter note, right? You know, your rhythm pyramid, right? That we always talk about. That kind of thing. So just like I was counting up the 16th notes in simple meter, I'm going to count the 16th notes until I get to 6. It's a little bit harder, but come on. Can you count to 6? I hope so. So 2 plus 2 plus 2, that's 6. Boom. And then there's 6 16th notes. So there's your beam. 3 8th notes, 6 16ths. Let's get one more in there. Da, 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 da. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, and 6, and 1. However you want to think of it. You know, 1 plus 1 plus 1 plus 2 plus 2. There's your 6. 2 plus 1 plus 1 plus 2. There you go. So 2 8ths, or 2 16ths and 2 8ths. And then 8, 2 16ths, and then an 8th. Da 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 da. Well, sorry, a little embarrassing. Da 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 da. All right, on to 9/8. Seems scary, but it is just triple compound. So 3 groups, 3 by 3 eighths, if you want to think of eighths. We are thinking in eighths, so, or 6 16ths. So 3 16ths, 1 plus 2, there you go, there's 6. 2 plus 2 plus 2, there's 6. 1 plus 1, 1 plus 2 plus 2, all right? So we got a dotted eighth, 16th, and an 8th. It was a little weird. It's good for you, builds character. 2 16ths, 2 8ths. Da ba da 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 1 2 da 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 da. All right, quarter note is 4 16ths. 8th note is 2, so there you go. 4 plus 2 2 plus 2 plus 2. 4 16th notes plus 2. There you go. So you don't have to beam quarter notes and eighth notes. But if you have a group of 3/8 notes on a beat, that helps the eye see that. This is all going back to you're going to be writing music for people to sight read, and you want to set them up for success. So being able to clearly see beats is crucial. You can make a killer band sound terrible if you don't respect proper beaming technique. All right, so da 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 da. Kind of a cool march thing there. All right, 1. There you go. 1 plus 1 plus 2 plus 2. 1, 2, 2. So that's 5. 1. There you go. 2, 2, 2. 3, 1, 1, 1. So eighth, 16, 2/8, 16. 3/8, dotted eighth. Now look at me rushing. I would be yelling at myself. I'm better at giving advice than taking it, but hopefully, I'm also trying to get this in because I know we're running out of time. So da 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 da. Kind of sounds like an alternate for the Terminator. Da 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 da. Da 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 da. Anybody ever see T2? I think that's the second Terminator. Classic flick. Hope you get to see it someday if you haven't. Okay. Man, this ran long, but oh well. All right, so I don't have it right now, but whenever I post this to Classroom, I'm going to make a link that she'll be able to click onto this, and it's going to take you to a page where, like, if you want to work on key signature identification, key signature construction, I'm going to make it to where you can do that in an infinite amount. It's not an assignment. It's just there. I'm calling it calling it my music theory gym. But the whole idea is to build speed because slow theory equals no theory. Okay. Quick heads up. Unit 2 is all going to be about triads. And at this point, I believe in Theory 1, you should have covered major and minor triads. We're going to cover the other two. We're going to cover diminished triads and augmented. We're going to get into inversions. And we're going to scratch the surface on figured-based notation. We're not going to do really any like four-part writing. But I want to at least introduce this kind of stuff because if you do classical music analysis in college, I don't know, it's been 20 years for me almost, but you probably want to know some kind of figured bass. And like everything else, if we're going to break it down where the notation could be weird at first, but it's actually pretty logical as we get into it. So, all right, how did we do? 48 minutes, man, went way over. Well, sorry about that. But again, any questions? Hit me up for tutoring. Otherwise, I'll see you next week. All right, bye.